So a few days ago, I bought about $100,000 worth of Tesla stock. And it reminded me of the day where I almost lost everything. Until today, nothing come close to that day. Like the emotional roller coaster that I had went through on that day, I've never experienced it since I started trading until now, right? It's like that day really like raised the bar in terms of how hard the financial markets is. Let me explain. So it was November 2021, right? So bear in mind that this is my first year of trading. I've just started getting into the financial markets. Read a bunch of books about stock picking, One Up on Wall Street, Warren Buffett's book, right, biographies. So I just started getting interested into the financial markets, right? Really getting fascinated about how the different candlesticks move, why price move this way, how price move this way. And I was so focused on like picking the best stock to invest my $1,000 paycheck that I just gotten from my job from waiting the tables and also like giving out flyers on the street, right? So I was like, you know what? I have this $1,000. If I can just find like the perfect stock, the magical stock, it's going to allow me to turn this $1,000 into $10,000 and then I'll finally become rich. So that was what went through my mind, all right? So I was just doing a lot of research, right? So I was just searching on YouTube, what's the best stocks to buy right now. Bear in mind that this was in 2021, right? So we had literally just came out of the COVID-19 pandemic. So everything looks kind of cheap, right? Like everything is kind of cheap right now. The stock market has crashed and I think like the stock market has kind of recovered by then, right? So it's still relatively cheap compared to where price is at right now. So I was like, yeah, hell yeah. I'm just going to invest this $1,000 and just dollar cost averaging, right? So I was pretty much searching for the YouTuber that I would trust, right? So I came across like this YouTuber and he seems super duper legitimate, right? He's from Singapore, same country as I was in, right? And he seemed very knowledgeable about stock picking. And he actually has like a pretty verified track record. Like he actually have a pretty good return on investment year on year. And his way of investing is quite like unconventional, right? He basically invests in like more risky assets. And at a point of time, he was preaching a few stocks, right? He was preaching Palantir, and some crypto and also Tesla, right? And Tesla is the one that caught my attention, right? Because I've always been fascinated about Elon Musk, right? Because bear in mind that at that point of time, that was when I started learning about not just the financial markets, but also self-improvement and also like trying to find out the business model that will allow me to be rich. And entrepreneurship was one of them. And Elon Musk was like, at a point of time, like one of the richest people in the world, right? So I was like, yeah, I'm fascinated by this guy. And if I could invest in a company that is owned by this guy, I'm going to become rich. Because this guy has made so many people rich. And he's creating products that pretty much would just change the world. And I just want a piece of his company, right? So as I watched the video of the YouTube guru, investment guru, explaining why Tesla is the best investment right now, I started getting attracted to it, right? It's like the guru was pretty much listing, like he didn't care about balance sheet or like financial statements whatsoever. He just cared about the future of Tesla, right? He was like, mentioned that Tesla is going to solve full self-driving. You know, we are going to be able to have robotaxis in the future. By the way, it's a crazy thing that it's actually like a real thing right now. And like, he was just pretty much future-proofing Tesla. And at that point of time, I just found it so fascinating. I was like, wow, Tesla is that one company that is on the right side of change. And if you are heading into a world where we require electrification of vehicles, right? We require AI, right? Tesla is the one company that I want to bet all my money on. And the next thing you know, I literally bet all my money on Tesla. Like, I shit you not, right? What happened was that I put the $1,000 that I have into Tesla. And then I put the $10,000 that I've saved up, right, throughout my entire year, throughout my entire short 18 years of my life into Tesla stock. I'm telling you this, everything could go wrong at a point of time. I entered at around $120, okay? So that was my entry price. Entered in November 2021, at around $140. And then price started going up, right? At that point of time, because Tesla is like the most traded stock, the most volatile stock, so it got super duper fast. Like it went up to around $280 in 1 month. Bear in mind that he has almost like doubled his money, right? Just achieved like 100% return in just 1 month. How fucking insane is that? And when that happens, I thought that I was a bloody genius because I had just doubled my money in my first year of trading, in my first year of investing, listening to some Tom, Dick, Harry on the internet preaching about how great Tesla is. So I was like, wow, I just turned 10K into 20K. Why not ask my family to get in on this as well? Bear in mind that, like I said, I came from like a family who have absolutely nothing. Like we are dirt poor, all right? But by then, 2021, we have already earned some money, right? Because my father is a real estate agent. He barely gets by, right? He earned about $1,000 to $2,000 a month, right? So I can't ask him to invest. But my mom, on the other hand, she has managed to save up a lot of money, right? Not a lot of money, by the way, like a little amount of money from selling clothes in a retail shop, right? So I asked her to actually invest with me, right? And bear in mind that she has saved up around $60,000 at that point of time, right? $60,000 at that point of time. So I was like, okay, cool, Mom. I have so much conviction on this stock right now. I really believe that this stock is the one stock that's going to bring us generational wealth. It's the one stock that's going to allow us to get out of this shitty apartment and finally be financially free. You can finally retire and we can use the profits to buy you like a car, right? That was how like confident I am in that investment ideal. So I asked her to like just trust me with the $50,000. And she was like, yeah, let's do it, right? If you're so confident, son, I trust you, let's do it. So she gave me the $50,000, right? And then I pretty much invested every dollar of that $50,000 into Tesla stock. Now, bear in mind that this was like still quite high, right? Tesla was at around $280 right now, right? So price has already like went up by 50%. And I was like so optimistic. And I just thought that, wow, price is just going to continue going up, right? It's just going to continue going up to the moon and we're going to hit $400 in no time. So I entered at the top at $280. Bear in mind that back then I was a 19-year-old, right? 18 to 19-year-old who had just came into the financial markets, just started learning about the stock market, has absolutely no evidence to prove that I'm a successful investor, right? Except for the fact that I just turned 10K into 20K. And my mom still trusts me with that money. Like, that was like all her life savings. So we pretty much had $60,000 invested at that point of time on Tesla stock. It was at $280. And then price started going down. When price started going down, I was like, oh shit, man. This can't be right. I had literally just invested everything I got. And you're telling me that it's going into like a pullback? Come on, man. And then price literally went down. Started going back down to its $180. Right? But at that point of time, I knew that whatever goes up must come down. It's simply the law of gravity. Nothing goes up forever. So I knew that it's just a tiny pullback, right? And I draw my Fibonacci retracement level, and I found out that price is just pullback about like, what, 50%, right? It's a natural pullback considering how volatile Tesla stock is. So it's like, cool, this too shall pass. I'm gonna hold past this pullback. And yes, lo and behold, a few months later, coming to July 2022, right? That's about like 6 to 7 months later. Price started going up again. And this time around, price went up by another 30 to 40%. It had went up from $180 to $340. Bear in mind, this was Tesla stock at its all-time high. It's at $400. And since then, it has like never really reached this high until like recently. But anyways, it went up to $400. Now, bear in mind that we had just doubled our investment again, right? The $50,000 that we have invested has become like $80,000, right? $80,000. We have never seen this amount of money throughout our entire life. If we sell right now, we could potentially live a pretty good life, right? Not like a fancy life, right? Because we didn't invest a lot of capital, but a decent life. And we have sufficient money to just live off for like the next 12 months without working whatsoever, right? My mom could technically like semi-retired, but we didn't sell. We got greedy at that point of time. We were like, nah, man, like if price can just go up by 50%, relentlessly, continuously, we just have to wait until price get to $1,000, right? We just have to wait until the stock price to get to $1,000. And when we get to $1,000, that's when we'll sell. So obviously at a point of time, we were overly optimistic, we were feeling euphoric, we were feeling greedy, we were feeling confident, so we held the stock, right? And like I said earlier, the law of gravity states that whatever goes up must come down. So when price started getting up to $400, right, it did not sustain at a peak. It started going down, right? It started going down to around $320. And then it started going up again, right? But then it failed to break out the $400 price level, and then it started going down again, right? So at the point of time, the sellers pretty much overwhelmed demand, the buyers. Bear in mind that Tesla is one of the most traded, if not the most traded stocks in 2020, right? So there's a lot of buyers, but there's also a lot of short sellers. And bear in mind, this is where, like I said, right, Tesla is literally at its peak. Tesla is all over the news as like the most profitable stock, and every single retail trader is trying to get his hands on it, right? And this is where institutions, they start selling. Because if Tesla has become like this conventional stock where everybody knows about, that is where institutions, they want to exit their positions, right? And leave the retail traders holding the stock that is going to go to shit. So price started going down tremendously, right? Because retail traders started getting in, thinking that this is the one stock that is going to 10x in the next few weeks. But institutions, they saw this fear of missing out. They saw this sense of euphoria, this sense of greed in the market, and they decided to short Tesla. So that they short Tesla. So it's like retail traders going against institutions, right? So Tesla started going down tremendously. Like it just went into this drawdown of like this infinite drawdown. It's like every single time I open my stock app, right, my investment app, which is Saxo Trader at the point of time, all I see is Tesla going down dollar by dollar, like $10 by $10 every single day, right? So one day it was $400, next day it was at $380, next day it's at $360, then it's $300, and then eventually it went down to $260, right? So it was so close to where we invested in, right? Bear in mind that we invested in around like 280-ish, right? 280-ish. That was where I invest 50K of my mom's life savings. And I invested 10K at around 180, right? So I was still profitable on my 10K, but I was breaking even on the $50,000 that my mom has trusted me with. At that point of time, my mom got so emotional. She started panicking, right? She like just started coming into my room. She was like, Brad, we are about to lose everything. Like Tesla stock has literally just went to shit. Should we sell right now? Like, I don't feel good about, holding this $50,000. We are just going to go to shit, man. We are going to lose everything of this $50,000. Bear in mind that she was emotional, she was irrational, and she has every reason to do so, right? Like I said, she had just trusted her life savings on like a 19-year-old who had barely any exposure to the stock market. And at that point of time, I was pissed off. Like I said, I've never been so pissed off in my entire life. To me, it felt like a sense of betrayal, right? Because she's like, she was saying that, you don't know shit, man. You're like an 18-year-old, right? Why did I trust the $50,000 to you? I shouldn't have trusted the $50,000 to you. To me, I took that personally and I felt a sense of betrayal because I was like, wait, you trusted me. So if you're trusting me right now, why don't you just continue trusting me that Tesla is going to eventually bounce back and we're eventually going to make our money back, right? So that was my rational, my logical part of my brain speaking. But because she was getting emotional, I was getting emotional as well, right? So she started shouting at me and I started shouting back. I was like, Mom, you don't understand. Tesla is going to be the company that's going to change the world one day. They are going to roll out this full self-driving. They're going to solve it. And then when they solve it, we're going to be rich again, right? Tesla is going to go back up its all-time high. It's only a matter of time. So that's what I just constantly said to her. And she was just arguing, just debating and she's just being irrational and just no. We are just going to lose all our life savings. Get me out right now, right? Just get me out right now. Sell everything, all the $50,000. I want it back right now. At least we can break even and then we can call it a day, right? We can live to fight for another day. The reason why she was so irrational, she was so emotional is because she had been burned by stocks for the past few years, Bear in mind that she has never made money gambling stocks. And she's a stock gambler. Like, she just like to gamble a portion of her life savings into stocks, hoping that one will finally like 10x, right? And Tesla is that one stock that she finally saw hope. And then she saw all the hope taken away from her, right? So, of course, she has every reason to be mad and be fearful, right? Because she had been burnt in the past. So she was like, get me out of the stock right now. So I was so pissed off, right? Because I had so much conviction in this investment idea. But she couldn't see my conviction. She couldn't perceive the financial markets, the Tesla stock, in the same lens which I'm looking at it from. So I just slammed the door on her. Like, for the first time, I slammed the door on her. Like, I've never really been rude to my mom because like she's an Asian mom. Asian mom is usually like the one who's like strict and fierce, right? So I've never really been like rude to her or anything. But for the first time, I slammed the door on her. And I just locked myself in the room. And at that time, I started crying. I shit you not, I started crying because no matter how confident I am in the investment idea, there lies a possibility that I'm about to lose everything. I'm about to lose everything, not just the $10,000 that I've saved up throughout my entire life, and also the $50,000 that my mom has entrusted me with. Right, so bear in mind that combined, that's like our entire family's life savings. If we lose everything, like if we sell everything right now, yes, we could get back at break even. But if we don't sell, there's a chance that Tesla stock could continue going down and our $60,000 will go to $30,000 and eventually go to $20,000. And I automatically catastrophized that situation to death. I was like, okay, if I don't sell right now, this stock might go down even more, and then my $60,000 investment might go to $10,000, and then eventually, if I sell, I will only have $10,000, and I will have nothing to show for like me just holding the stock for so long. And then if that happens, I will be known as like a failed investor, and I won't have the confidence to start trading the financial markets, and I won't succeed at trading, and I'm just gonna die. I'm just gonna fail, right? So I pretty much catastrophized the situation to death, right? So at that point of time, I had like a huge decision to make. Number one, continue holding the stock, hoping that the stock will eventually go up and at least allow me to like make not a huge returns, but like just get me out of like a profit. Right, because I want something to show for. Or option number two, which is just sell right now. Right? Just sell right now. Wait, actually no. Option number two is you don't sell and the stock goes to shit. Right? And you lose everything. And option number three is I get out right now. Okay, I get out right now at around break even. Right? So we got out around 60K. Call it a day. At least we can, like I said, live to fight for another day, right? We can actually try to invest this money on another stock, even though like my mom probably would not let me touch this 50K ever again. But yeah, we can live to fight for another day, right? We are still not richer, but not poorer than we originally were when we actually get in for the stock. So those were the three options that I had at that point of time. I was in my room, tears coming down my eyes. I started feeling this pain in my stomach, right? Started feeling this pain in my heart aching, right? My heart is just aching constantly. I was paralyzed by fear, and the reason is because I was really like afraid of the unknown. I've never been so uncertain in my life yet. And if I make the wrong decision, I choose the wrong option out of these three options, I could potentially lose everything. So it's like a pretty big bet that I have to place. And to me, no matter how emotional I was at a point of time, I just keep on trying to rationalize the situation. And I keep on asking myself, what is the right decision? What is that one option that will actually allow me to still make money in this market which is filled with uncertainty, where everybody is selling, everybody is getting emotional, my mom is getting emotional, I'm getting emotional. But what's that one option that will allow me to really be rational, be logical, be objective, that will actually allow me to still get a return on investment? And that is the option of holding the stock. Now, bear in mind that it's a pretty big bet, right? Because if I hold the stock, I could go and lose everything, right? But like I said, I had so much belief in my investment ideal that I was willing to risk everything on. Because I knew fundamentally this stock was a good pick, right? Tesla was a great company. It's just the volatility that is like turning me off right now, right? But fundamentally, Tesla stock has not changed. Elon Musk is still Elon Musk. Tesla stock is still as valuable as it was a few months ago, right? Fundamentally, nothing has changed, right? So I was like, I'm just going to continue holding this stock. Fuck it. So I continued holding it, and it was a very tough period because it was at around like $220. Like, so at bear in mind that after I continued holding it, it dropped down even further, right? It dropped down to $220. And it consolidated around there for a little bit, right? Consolidated around there for a bit. And then at the point of time, I had really like started to lose hope. Like every single day I saw my investment account and I saw like the red number, negative $30,000, negative $40,000 every single day. It's like staring into an abyss while eating glass. It's like a single clap in an empty auditorium for like an extended period of time. Like you just can't explain that feeling because it's like your mom doesn't believe in you, the entire world doesn't believe in you, the entire world thinks that Tesla is going to go to shit, but you believe in yourself. Right? It's like that balls deep conviction that I had in the investment idea just allowed me to endure this long period of drawdown, right? This long period of Tesla being like at $220. Eventually it recovered, right? It took about 1 to 2 months, right? 1 to 2 months, eventually it started recovering. It started going up, right? It go up to around $300. All right, it went up to around $300. Bear in mind that this is what the stock curve looks like, right? Price went up $400, comes down, goes up to $380, goes down to $220, and right now it came up to $300. So it haven't go back up to its all-time high, right? But yeah, it's kind of like recovered a little bit. So when it went up to $300, it created this double top, right? So bear in mind that at the point of time, I was like into chart patterns. I saw that double top as a sign that it's going to continue going down even further, right? Continue going down and breaking its all-time lows. So I was like, you know what? This is the time that I need to get out, right? This is the time that I had to get out. So we got out at around $300. We didn't make a lot of money, right? But I personally, I have doubled my investment. I have turned my 10K into 20K, right? But my mom, she has gotten out at, like, very much she has gotten in around like $280 or like around like, let me see, around not 280, right? That was just me kind of exaggerating the stock price. But I think around 240 to 280. I can't really remember the exact price point that she got in for. But when we got out at $300, she had made a pretty good return on investment on like her $50,000, right? So I think she had made like $10,000 or $20,000 at a point of time, right? So we still managed to have something to show for us holding the trade for like the past 6 months. And I personally have doubled my investment, right? So I was quite happy. Like I was not happy, but I was like, at least we didn't lose everything. At least we didn't lose all our life savings on the one stock, right? Like we are good, okay? We are good. We are never gonna touch Tesla again, but we are good. All right, so, and lo and behold, right after we get out, the stock collapsed to $120. I shit you not. We pretty much get out at the last stop before price collapse. All because my knowledge of chart patterns at a point of time. All because I saw the double top at a point of time. So that double top kind of like saved me from losing fucking everything. All right. So I was like kind of grateful because as I go and look at TradingView, I saw the chart of Tesla stock went down to $140, $100 even. And I was so thankful, so grateful that we got out at around $300, right? Because, like I said, it could have been a lot worse. I took the bets of just holding the trade. Just so that I could kind of like make back. Just so that I could kind of get like a decent return on investment, right? But yeah, that could have went a lot worse. Okay, like we could have just lost everything. So, what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is very simple. Never ever bet with money you can't afford to lose. If you have to take away one key lesson from this story, it's not to trade chart patterns. It's not to get out when there's like a double top. It's not to try to ride the momentum of the move, right? Like all of this, yeah, it's like valid lessons, whatever, right? But the key lesson that you have to understand is never ever bet with money you can't afford to lose. The reason why is because when you are betting with money you can't afford to lose, right? The money that you have to use to pay rent for the month, pay the bills, put food on the table, what happens is that you get so attached to the trade outcome, to the investment outcome, that it pretty much allows you to make bad decisions, emotional decisions, right? That will cause you to just lose the money that you're betting with. It's like quite ironic, isn't it? It's like you're getting into the market, betting the money that you can't afford to lose, hoping that you can flip the amount of money that you have just risked into $10,000, right? Hoping that you can get like a 2x return on investment on the money that is all you have right now. It's like going to the casino and going all in and hoping that you can double this money via like a roulette, right? Betting black and hoping that you can double this money, whatever, right? But what you fail to realize is that when you are trading or you're investing with the money that you can't afford to lose, you automatically get attached to the money, which means you automatically get attached to the trade outcome, right? It doesn't matter how much the money is, but you will get attached to the trade outcome. And when you are so attached to the trade outcome, it prevents you from putting your time, energy, and attention into doing the preparation, doing the research, doing the analysis that is required to ensure that you make a wise trading decision. Because now you are focused on the money instead of focused on the process. Now you're focused on winning and losing the trade instead of focusing on executing your trade plan, instead of focusing on doing the diligence that is necessary for you to win the stock, right? To win the investment idea. Right? So if you think about it, energy has a certain frequency. And the frequency carries information. So if you're pouring your energy into the outcome of the trade, right? The investment of the trade, right? Hoping that the trade will go up to 2x, right? Every single pip move will cause you to be on a emotional roller coaster, right? It will cause you to, like when the stock goes up, you're happy. When the stock goes down, you're sad. When the stock goes up, you're happy. When the stock goes down, you're sad. This prevents you from staying in a calm, relaxed, equanimous state that allow you to make wise trading decisions. Decisions that will actually make you more money because you're always emotional. Because once again, you're tied to the trade outcome. You're tied to the investment outcome. So please, for the love of God, do not play with money you can't afford to lose. Do not play with fire. Right? So that is why from that day onwards, I told myself that I would never ever touch my family's money ever again. Bear in mind that is my unwritten rule, right? That is like my principle right now. That is my core value. I would never ever invest my family's money ever again. Because if I lose that money, my mom, my dad will hate me. And that relationship is not worth jeopardizing no matter the amount of upside I could potentially get from the stock, right? From the investment. It's just not worth it. It's not worth ruining the entire relationship for money. So that is my rule. So yeah, since 2021, I'm proud to say that I've never actually touched my family's money ever again. So every single investment that I do right now is based on my money. That's it. Now bear in mind that I've invested about $1 million by now, right? And my mom is constantly asking me for stock picks because I pretty much made 100K from my investment portfolio for the past 1 year or so, right? So I've done pretty well for myself, right, in terms of investments. But whenever my mom asks me about the stock pick, I will always say one word to her, Tesla. And then she's like, oh fuck, yeah. It's like Tesla. It's like you want to get these outsized returns, but you're not willing to take the outsized risks that will actually give you this big payoff. If that's the case, then why pay the price? Then why ask me for stock picks? Right? So that's my rule for myself. It's yes, I could make you rich, but I don't really want to if it would jeopardize our relationship. Right? So it's cool. You know what? Moving forward, never ever trade with or invest with money you can't afford to lose. Right? So one thing, it can jeopardize your relationships with your family, but another thing is you will be so attached to the trade outcome that it will cause you to make bad decisions that will cause you to lose money on the trade idea. All right, so I hope you guys have like just enjoyed this little story because, man, it's like it's such a traumatic experience for her, but it's like a big lesson for me, right? Because it's like from that day onwards, I kind of just developed like the conviction to hold a trade. I was like, yeah, like that is the worst day. Like that's generally the worst day. Nothing could ever come close to that. That level of uncertainty, not knowing whether you are able to double or lose all your family's life savings, that's something that I've never felt that feeling for like a very long time, and I'm so grateful for that, right? So, yeah. Let me know down in the comments, what is the one day that you almost lost everything? I'm really interested to hear your story as well, right? Because end of the day, you must understand that the reason why I kind of like created this channel in the first place is so that I can like document everything, right? So that I can tell you guys like the lessons that I've learned, the mistakes that I've committed, so that you don't commit the same mistake as I did, right? So that you don't lose the same amount of money that I did. Like in order for me to get to this point right now, I had to learn a lot of lessons. I had to went through a lot of trial and error. I have to overcome a lot of trials and tribulations, right, in order to get to where I am today. So if I could just shorten your learning curve, right, prevent you from making the same mistakes that I committed in my first 3 years of trading career, it will save you a lot of time. It will save you thousands, or if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of losses. It will also allow you to become profitable faster, right? And that's really the goal of this channel. Right, so yeah, just go down to the comment. Let me know what's the one day that you almost lost everything. I'm interested to hear your stories, and if you guys want more videos like this, just let me know as well. So yeah, never ever play with fire. Never ever play with money you can't afford to lose.